Hi guys. This is Black and Indigenous American. This video was not advertised as far as me going live. I've just decided to do this um, sporadically, which I typically do anyway. Um, but a lot has happened, and I just wanted to share. As you can see, the background is different, so I am officially in the state of North Carolina. And so no hotels. um, there are more and more restrictions going on right now, and so long story short, my employer decided at the last second to allow us to work from home. And so I was planning on coming down um, Saturday, and then um, things just kind of was expedited Friday. I got word that the area that I have decided to relocate to, um, this community is very conservative, and this community um, is one out of several counties in this entire country that decided to restrict outsiders. And so, being that I'm in the middle of moving, I had to jump through several hurdles in order to um, get in here. I mean, my stuff is here, and it was just a matter of getting remote work. And with this whole corona thing, what turned out to be a no ended up being a temporary yes as far as working from home. So I don't know how long this is going to be with my current employer. Obviously, other other opportunities will have to come to pass, um, come into fruition. But as of right now, my team and most of the company can work from home. And so my manifestation has actually came to fruition, and I have to be a little bit more specific because I did not request the coronavirus to make it happen. Um, I didn't necessarily request for everyone to get the option, and sometimes, in some cases, the only option to work from home. But it happened, and not just my company, but school systems, you name it. So I'm not taking credit for the coronavirus, um, but the way, the timing, and everything, literally 1 month ago and some change, I nicely put in a request to work from home. And then fast forward to a week ago, roughly, um, got the green light, and not just me, but a whole lot of people. So it kind of was frustrating because if this was done 2 weeks ago, then I would have been down here a lot sooner, and I would have gotten here before all of the restrictions as far as entering the community. So I got in, but I still have to get a driver's license. I still have to get the car registered. I have to do all of that. And DMVs across the state of North Carolina, for the most part, are closed, excluding maybe 5 or 6 locations in the heart of North Carolina, like Raleigh, Durham, Cary. I'm nowhere near those areas. So if I do go, I'll find a way over there to get my driver's license and things of that nature. That's a good 4 hours and some change just to get over there to take care of that paperwork. Um, so it has been very, very challenging, and it's interesting because with all of the restrictions going on, I had to find documents proving that I Yes, am a resident. I just didn't have all of my paperwork, and working in a different state and trying to get all of that situated. I had to show proof that I definitely am a resident, just not on paper. Some people, they don't register their cars as soon as they move in, and obviously licenses. You know, you have a grace period, and unfortunately, with everything that's just up in the air, and every few hours or so, there's changes, and things are being announced on the national news and the local news about you know, what you can and can't do at this moment. And again, I'm in the middle of relocating, so I had to get down here just in case, let's say, the entire state of Maryland decided it wanted to shut down and you can't leave or go anywhere. And so, for people that have uh, uh, a house to live in, it's just a matter of just staying home. But for someone like myself that was lodging out of hotels for almost 3 months, trying to find remote telework and things of that nature, because my current employer was not having it. um, I was unfortunately forced to stay on a job in order to continue to have employment. And so that went on almost 3 months. So, like I said, I'm not taking any credit for other people being able to work from home across the board. But I find it very interesting the timing that all of this happened. From me nicely asking to be given access to work from home, and them being forced to allow everybody to work from home. I find that very interesting that they have all the capabilities of allowing people to work from home. And what I do, I don't need to look at people all day. I mean, if you're in sales, that's different. You know, if you are the first contact interaction with a customer, you're bringing in the customers, and we all benefit from it because we work there. That's great. Yeah, your job requires you to meet people face to face. Mine doesn't. I don't have to be there all day. So yeah. So as soon as the area that I have now relocated to put down restrictions, that's when my current employer said that now you can work from home. So you can imagine how in intense that was, feeling almost like a illegal immigrant, right? This is my land, okay? But in the current times, if you don't have your card proving your identity with your address attached to it, which is typically a driver's license, it's like the driver's license is your card, like your passport, you know? And it's almost like you are traveling from one country to the next when you're actually in the same country. And I find that interesting, how that played out. But anyway, so, and on the latter side of things, on my way down, because again, I was given a heads up what was going down, insider information. Uh, and so I had to speed up my travel to get down here. I had to cancel hotel stays, and as soon as I got off of work, which I was working from home, which was in a hotel, as soon as I was able to leave, I checked out, and I was going to make a few other stops, but then I got a call saying, no, you need to come down now because by midnight they're going to change the rules and it's going to be a lot harder to even get in this area. So I ended up driving down, got down there in like 4.5, 5 hours, which for that area, for that time to the travel was a miracle. Because many people stayed home, many people were not out and about, and that was a Corona traffic, which was almost like traffic on Christmas morning or whatever. It was interesting in the northern Virginia, DC area. Just driving through, I mean, traffic just flowed. Um, so that worked out for me. So anyway, I drove all the way down. I only stopped once, and that was just to go to the bathroom and get gas. And then I got down here, and uh, it's funny how we got through the checkpoint because they're checking everybody's ID. At that time, they were checking the driver's ID. They didn't want anybody to roll down the window, to decrease any kind of contact. And so, the driver showed ID, fine. We got through within 2 seconds. But what's interesting, and again, back to, the lighter side of this whole thing, um, I stumbled across Erica Badu's song called Danger. And the song been out a while, but I just stumbled across it on YouTube. And the lyrics I found interesting. And part of the lyrics that I found interesting was the the blocks the blocks on hot. The block is hot. Yeah, the block is hot or something like that. And obviously I'm thinking about getting through the checkpoint. And so I blast that song for like 45 minutes on my way down. Met up with some folks, did what we had to do, and everything was fine. But the intensity of knowing that you're moving to an area and now they have shut you off from moving and all of your stuff is there, and there's certain documents that they will accept, uh, and then there's some that they don't. So if you are not a property owner, you're not getting in. So all them people out there that don't own anything, good luck. That's strike one if you don't own anything. Strike two, um, if you are a secondary homeowner, let's say this is your vacation home. Initially, you could get in. However, you had to show your taxes, um, to show that you pay taxes or whatever. Because obviously, if you pay taxes, you own something, right? Typically. Um, and then if you are an employee of a business in this area, then you can get a permit to go back and forth. Um, yeah. And if you if you're if you don't own anything, um, then you have to show, let's say, a lease, you know, um, a rental agreement or something like that. I mean, they had so many different obstacles. And for people, let's say, that don't own anything and somebody else is paying for everything, their name is not on anything, and they're moving down in this area, good luck. Find a bill somewhere, put it in your name or whatever. But that's how this conservative area has restricted so many people coming and going to this area. So, yeah, that in of itself was annoying because every few hours they were changing, and I was hearing through the grapevine, okay, something else is going to change, or they're going to tighten things up again, and you best get down here, and da da da. Who knows how long they're going to block you from coming in? So that in of itself was intense, and not intense like as far as the actual uh, uh, thing that people are afraid of, but me not having access to where I'm supposed to live has been uh, beyond irritating. And this current employer being stiff necked or hard headed or whatever like that. I'm like, okay, if the government is closing, the school systems are closing, and people are working from home or going to school, online school or homeschooling, what are y'all waiting for? Like, seriously, what are y'all waiting for? So, enough of that. So today I officially was working from home from this location where I have been planning to be living. And so I'm here now. And so I don't know how long this current employer is going to allow their staff to work from home. They said until further notice. And we had to fill out an agreement of this temporary work from home and rules that we had to abide by to work from home. And in my opinion, they're very common sense and everything. But I guess a lot of people don't know. If you work from home, you got the same lunch, you have the same work schedule. You don't come and go as you please because it's not your business. I get that. But I guess some other people don't get that. So, whatever. Then, and I only slept 2 hours. You know why? Because Thursday night, when I was in a hotel, I was awakened by noises that you would hear from porn. I'm going to say it like that. I heard smacking, I heard sloppy sounds, and I heard screaming and grunting. And not love making, in my opinion. Love making, there is sounds when it comes to love making. This sound like a booty call. This sound like some guy who was very aroused by a woman that he finally got. And it's funny because I plugged my ears up so I can go back to sleep, but I never went back to sleep. So I still have my ears plugged, so I couldn't hear anything. But I just got on the internet and did a bunch of research because I had a lot on my mind about trying to get down here and what was going on. So finally, the alarm goes off because I have to get up to go to work, which is, working from home, still in the hotel. About 6:45-ish, I get up to go to the bathroom, or I'm about to get up. And then I hear them about to start bumping and grinding again. And I'm hearing grunts and I'm hearing the bed rocking and everything. And I just started banging on the wall because, again, I have not slept. I kept banging on the wall and then they just stopped. And then I heard a few minutes later they went into the shower. Somebody took a shower. I don't know if they finished it off in the shower. I don't know. But it was like, really? It's one thing to be intimate in that zone. I get it. Okay, I'm an adult. I get it. The way that was going on, you would think that was they set up a camera to record a porn video, and she began screaming at the very beginning of their interaction. The average woman is not going to do all of that until they've been bumping and grinding for a minute. And then after that, it escalates. It just sounded like she was very fake. And just to keep this as clean as possible, it sounded like a fake porn video. And the guy got all the gratification from it. And it sounded like it might have been more than one person in there digging up in her. Let's just put it that way. So I was pissed off. So again, only 2 hours worth of sleep. Had to drop all the way down to North Carolina. Finally get down to this house. And when I got here, I didn't eat pretty much all day. It was just a very hectic day. So I slept very, very good. And then when I wake up the next morning, it's about maybe 9:30. I grab my phone and I see, I got a text message or whatever. And a relative of mine texted me and said another relative, um, a distant cousin, um, killed herself. She shot herself in the head. And I knew that this relative probably was depressed. As long as she's been in this reality, she's always been a sad person. Like I remember her as a little girl, she just always just was sad. And she, was on Facebook, so I kept up with her on Facebook. Um, she just seemed the comments that she would make on Facebook like the average person, right? If somebody get on your nerves, on Facebook you kind of vent. So she did some of that on social media, but I still can't believe that she took her own life. And everyone has a path that's lined up for them. I do understand some uh, thoughts about why certain people do certain things. Um, but at this moment, I'm just lost for words because the scenario, this is a situation. This side of the family is on my mom's side, and this is not the first suicide on that side of the family. In fact, this cousin's uncle did the same thing. This cousin's uncle did the same thing. Now, the cousin who is the mother of the cousin who took her life a few days ago, that was her only child. And she only had one brother. And her mother, which is the young cousin of mine that just passed away, her grandmother was murdered. So that line, that family tree line, the grandma, the uncle, and now the niece slash granddaughter. It's horrible. It is a complete nightmare. Complete nightmare. Complete nightmare. Now I've had some low moments. I've had moments where I wanted to disappear. I've recorded a video or two about that years ago. Um, I wanted to disappear. Not disappear like my cousin did the other day. Meaning I would just want to just disappear, press the reset button, go to another place and start over. And while doing that, the people that care and love for me, it will be as if I never existed and no one's upset. No one is heartbroken because they never knew me. And so, and I know sometimes that may sound like somebody's trying to commit suicide, but I didn't feel suicidal per se. I didn't want to take my own life. I just wanted to start over. And I think many people feel that way. They just want to start over, but you do have people who just want to just say, F it, I'm out of here. And they do something drastic, like my cousin did. And I had to really dig down deep when I had my low moments and snap out of it. And everybody cannot snap out of it. For whatever reason, every person has their own path. Every person has their own purpose. And when people leave, as we say too soon, their purpose is somewhere else in another realm, maybe another parallel world. You know, there's so much out there that we all are just puzzled about. There's so many mysteries out there, so many difficult situations that people go through, a loved one or themselves, and we just want answers. We want answers. We want to know why. And if we knew why, then maybe it would soften the blow some. So I believe this relative suffered a long time. Like I said, I just remember her being very sad from a little girl, from a little child, because I took care of her a couple of times when she was little. From a little kid, she just had this sad kind of aura about her, and it could be something I think that may have passed down, um, because again, her uncle did the same thing, and her uncle and my sister, my oldest sister, they were like brother and sister. They were like brother and sister. They were very close. And I'm just gonna call the mother who just lost her daughter. I'm gonna call her Q. Okay, Q, and then D, which is her brother who took his life. Q and D were raised up with my older sister. I remember them, but I was really, really young. But they used to hang, they were like almost like siblings because they grew up together, but they were cousins. I believe, as far as the distance, I would say they're probably our uh, fourth fourth cousin, maybe, I think fourth or fifth cousin. So they grew up together. They were real close or whatever. And when D took his life, my older sister was so angry, and many people who loved and cared for him was angry as well, that it got to that. But he suffered as well, and from his mother being murdered, his father dying. I forgot how he died. He dealt with substance abuse, and before he took his life, they called the cops and everything to get him to calm down. But before he took his life, I remember hearing that he asked God to forgive him, and he said, I'm sorry, and he went ahead and took his life. And so many of my relatives were very angry. I was more sad. Um, when I went to the funeral, it was hell. Most funerals are anyway, unless it's somebody who died in their sleep as an old person, and they're like 103. That's different. But when it's um, if someone has passed and it's linked to a tragic situation, it cuts real deep, and I can't even imagine um, what Q went through. Her mother was murdered. Her brother took his own life, and now her daughter did the same thing. And whew, mm, wow. So you really don't know. Again, you really don't know what people are going through. Some people put a smile on their face just so loved ones won't worry. But you really don't know how far gone they are psychologically, as far as being able to step in and help pull them out of that funk. But then again, if you look at it a different way, some people believe that however way you cross over into the next realm, uh, you chose that way of crossing over. And obviously, at this moment, it's difficult to comprehend that. It's difficult for a mother to hear that when their child, only child, shortened her life compared to, let's say, someone who um, crosses over much later in life. Um, I don't know all the details. Obviously, I'm not going to talk too much about their identities and things of that nature, because it's a private thing, and it's no one else's business. Um, But I just feel like when people are going through something, it is real easy for many of us to tell them to get over it. Um, Sometimes there's a chemical imbalance in their brain. It could be a spiritual attack. Um, it could be a laundry list of things that will cause a person to go down that path where they feel like I'm out of here. And for me personally, life in general is very connected to spiritual forces, and it's very important to know that. Um, there is a such thing as spiritual attacks. There's a such thing as possession in as far as dark energies. There is this thing called generational curses, and when things like this happen, and not just once, out of the blue, but this is like a pattern. And I'm concerned about Q because her mother, her only brother, and her only child, and her child was like the light of her life. And even though uh, I'm sure things were not perfect between a mother and daughter, for the most part, they loved each other very, very much. And her daughter was, I guess, her reason to be here. And I'm concerned right now. Of course, other people are upset about what happened, who loved uh, this young cousin of mine, even when she didn't feel like maybe she wasn't loved enough. I don't know. But she was loved. And this is my message for anyone else out there who may feel like I'm done. And then with the pressures of um, what's going on with restrictions and travel, and a lot of extroverts out there, I think, are having a really hard time. And I say this because they're very social people. They do well in environments where they interact with other people, face to face communication and contact and things of that nature. And this could be a very, very, very difficult time for them when they are separated from other people. So what I want to say is find ways to stay connected, more so over the phone, FaceTime, Zoom, MS Team, which is Microsoft Team, where you can do video conferencing and things of that nature. I'm sure there are counselors out there if you need to talk to someone to get things off your chest. They do have hotlines out there. They probably have psychologists that could do video conferencing with you if you need to see somebody. Again, many people out there are extroverts, and they may not necessarily be on the verge of taking their life, but it can be very, very depressing. Also, from what I've learned, is that when people are on antidepressants and they feel okay and then they get off of it, one of the side effects is suicide, being very suicidal. That's a side effect from getting off these meds. And it's kind of a catch-22 because it's like you don't want to be on the meds because they have other side effects. But then if you get off the meds, especially if you get off of it too soon, cold turkey or whatever, then suicidal um, tendencies is apparently one of the major side effects. I'm thinking about Anthony Bourdain, is that his name? The celebrity traveler, I think food critic. I'm assuming he committed suicide. I'm not sure, but and then Robin, what was it? Robin, what was the comedian's name? He played in Mrs. Doubtfire, or Peter Pan, comedian. How he took his life, and just because someone's smiling, that doesn't necessarily mean that um, that everything is great, because that could be a mask, right? That could be a mask. Um, so right now, with everything going on and this being very fresh, I'm not going to talk too much more about um, the decision that was made. Was it a decision, right? Was it a decision? Was it something spiritual that led to that? I don't know. I don't know. But what I find very odd is that this is a reoccurring theme on in that family line. Again, I'm related to them on my mother's side, um, but that was through a line, that family tree, that branch. There's another branch, and that's the tree. That's the tree branch where there's a lot of suffering, um, a laundry list of things that uh, has happened throughout generations. Okay, and hi, Kara. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for watching and commenting. So I find it very important to hunker down and get very very connected to highest divinity, spiritual connections, and call on your ancestors, call on the highest divinity, call on your spiritual guides, um, spiritual cleansings, and if you do spiritual baths, like right now I live near the beach, and I'm seriously considering when it's a little bit warmer to go to the beach and put out an offering. And yeah, I live right near the big water. That element is alive, and it's powerful. And so I'm very serious about going out there and doing a cleanse in the ocean. Obviously, everyone doesn't live near an ocean, so wherever you can find a space or whatever um, that you feel connected to, that sits well with you, find it, incorporate it, and add it to your spiritual daily practices. Um, that's very important. Yes, you should have enough food wherever you are, right? If you can, get some toilet paper, have a few rolls of toilet paper, but leave some for the rest of us. Um, but other than just your main supplies, things that you would typically need, to get through the day, it's very important to turn that TV off. Get into a space of just meditating and being uh, close to whatever you believe in, God, highest divinity, whatever. It's very important to tap into that and not get so distracted by all of the, you know, fear mongers. Just as one of the YouTubers said, I was listening to him earlier today. His name is Brother Yusuf. His channel is called New Life. That's NULIFE. And New Life something. But anyway, if you type that in, you'll find them. And he says, don't be scared, be prepared. And then he said, be prepared, don't be scared. He just reiterated that. So he's like, don't be scared, don't be afraid. Fear is what's going to bring down your immune system as well. When you're fearful, don't do that. What you want to do is just be prepared. Have your food, canned foods or whatever like that, dry foods that you can prepare. Just pretty much so you don't have to necessarily go out unnecessarily. Um, just, stay at home, read a book, FaceTime people you care about, talk to them on the phone. Maybe you hadn't talked to somebody in a while. This would be a perfect time to just pick up the phone and see how they're doing. Um, Focus on things that you can do. Uh, and like if you have a park somewhere, get out and go walk. I've done that a few times last week. Because where I was staying, they did have walking trails and stuff like that. So get out, walk. You don't have to necessarily be stuck in a room for however long, you know, but find ways to get out in nature, you know. Pay your respects to creation. Yes, exercise. Some of the celebrity exercise gurus are having classes, let's say, you know, YouTube or whatever, Facebook, and you can follow along with them. Like with Tybo, for instance. I love Billy Blanks and Tybo. And he has Tybo videos on YouTube. And I would just like, you know, turn on my computer, press play, and I'm doing Tybo. um, for people that prefer not to exercise with videos, DVDs, or even streaming, you can always find something outside. If you're a runner, if you just want to walk outside, power walk, whatever, ride your bike, just get outside. And I think when people are cramped inside, that's also, it instigates anxiety, because when you're fearful, that that is a domino effect to all other issues. So just try to keep your spirit, your mind, and your body um, in a space that is full of gratitude. And I honestly believe that turning off the TV is going to help a whole lot of people. Stay informed. Yes, stay informed. But turn it off and give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. So, when the relative of mine who took her life recently, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if all of this stuff going on got to her as well. And maybe a lot of people too. And they felt like, this is it. I'm not going to go through all this anxiety. I'm just going to go ahead and speed things along and get out of here, you know. And there could be people right now that are so afraid that they just go ahead and just get it over with, you know, get it over with. And again, if they choose to do that, some people believe that everyone chose before they even were born in this physical realm. They chose how they were going to leave. Um, Whatever mission they had to make here, be it, you know, infancy, toddler, high school kid, 90-year-old person, they chose when they exit. And obviously, right now it's fresh, and there's no way that anybody can tell a grieving mother that her only child took her life because she chose to before she was born or whatever. That is a nightmare, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Allow the mother to go through the grieving process, and if she's ever receptive to hearing something like that, then so be it. But right now, it's not the time. Right now is not the time to explain it that way. That's why some people who are, um, let's just say they believe in Jesus or whatever like that, they would say something like, well, she's with the Lord. She's not in pain anymore. Um, uh, God forgives and all of that. To kind of try to ease grieving relatives and loved ones through that process. And so if you come back with another perspective that doesn't sit well with them, that's not helping anybody. Um, yeah, so I know some of you were um, just now sending me a chat, so I can't see it on my cell phone, but I'm looking at my laptop right now, and I'm gonna see if I can see it. Okay, so just give me a second. So let's just say the last 2 or 3 days, it has been heartbreaking. Outside of my, life and relocating and the job and everything. When I got that news, um, and I wouldn't necessarily say I was close to that relative, but I see her as a little girl because I remember taking care of her when she was a little girl, and and even back then, like I mentioned before earlier in this video, she just seemed like a very sad child. Um, all right, Cara, it was you. You were texting, chatting with me. So I'm gonna read your chats. You said, "Can you try one? I have a challenge." Okay, so you're talking about an exercise. Okay, try to lay on your belly, on your elbows. Okay, so is this like a, what do you call that? Plank? Are you talking about the plank challenge? That is hard. Yeah, right now, I don't think I'm in a position to hold a plank for, let's say, more than 15 seconds. I used to could do it for like a minute, but I kind of got off the bandwagon. I need to get it back on it. But so you are talking about the plank. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, challenges are good too. And with technology, it does has its setbacks, but it also has things that help us along the way when things um, like the current situation, right? We can still interact. It's just through technology. Or if you live with your, let's say, your family, everybody's pretty much exposed to each other, and if you have it, fine, whatever. If you have a strong immune system, you'll get through it. You definitely want to be very, very careful around people with weak immune systems. So sometimes you have to separate from, let's say, your loved one that is prone to things. You may have to have them on a different floor if you have a big enough house to keep them away. They suggest 14 days, but. Okay, you said it's not the plank. Okay. Do you have a video link or something that shows how to do it? I'm a visual learner, so let's see. You said it's more easier because you're not holding a tough position. Okay. Oh, I saw this one lady earlier last week when I was walking on that walking trail, and she found a spot that was right near the water because it was like around a little lake, probably a man-made lake. And she found a little spot, and she was doing yoga. She had a yoga mat. She was doing her stretches and everything near the water. I thought that was a really good idea. Personally, I probably would want to do that where there's not a lot of people walking past because people like to people watch and look, and I would prefer to like exercise. Let's say if I wanted to go to the beach, and right now this is really not the time for people to vacation because it's still kind of cold, you know. But let's say it was a warm day and it's kind of off season or whatever. It'll be the perfect time to go to the beach, have your yoga mat or whatever, and just do yoga right on the beach. That's great. Um, so if I was in a situation like that and I didn't have a bunch of people staring at me, then yeah, I would definitely do yoga near the water. That right there is very healing, and I would say you could really get in tune with the elements of nature. Cara says it's easy when I explain it through. You're actually laying on your belly too. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do the challenge right now, but I would definitely give it some more thought at another time. But yeah, definitely exercise. Um, I have some elderberry juice or syrup, I should say. Some spirulina. What is it called? Spirulina. Trying to remember what it's called. Um, but yeah, so spirulina, I think that's what it's called. I have that in, I think, either supplements or a liquid form. I have, um, hold on, let's see what else I have. Colloidal silver. I think I pronounced that right. I have yet to use that, but I heard that it's really good um, for your immune system. I have that in my suitcase because again I've been traveling back and forth in hotels. I bought that at Mom's, this grocery store that's known for, you know, their health food and stuff like that. So I bought a bottle and I have yet to take it, but I have that. I've been eating oranges and you know I'm a vegetarian, so I don't consume red meat or nothing like that. And I think that probably helps. Uh, let's see. Let's see what else. But yeah, you definitely got to balance your mental state, your physical health, you know, as far as physical, getting out, moving. Because it's real easy to just sit around and eat and watch TV and be scared 24/7. That is not going to help you. It's not going to help your loved ones. It's not going to help anybody. Um, be informed, be prepared, but don't be afraid, okay? Let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Again, it's just been a very challenging, actually, it's been a very challenging few years for myself, probably more than a decade and some change. um, but I've learned how to, uh, as I said to a friend a few weeks ago, and I'll repeat it here again in this video. When I feel low, when I feel like I want to give up, not necessarily check out this physical realm, but when I just want to give up on, let's say, a project or a goal or something like that, if I just want to give up and just say, you know, forget it, this is what I told my friend when she was asking me a bunch of questions about, you know, what are you doing and where are you going to move and do you have a job in place, and you know all of these questions that I don't have answers to at the time. And then I told her, I said, the average person will have fell apart by now. I said, but I am not average. I am built to last. I come from resilient people. And it, when I said it, it gave me goosebumps because it almost felt like I didn't say that. Like the words came out of my mouth, but I didn't say it. It felt very much like it came, like I had a download or something. Like it was like a reminder, and I had to speak it so I could hear it. And so I would say those who have, who feel like they just can't go any further. because there's so many things that just been knocking them down left and right. Some people have more challenges than other people. Maybe they were born into an environment just full of challenges. And I was one of those people. But of course, there are other people that have more challenges than me. Okay, I'm not sitting here acting as if I had the worst life ever. I'm not saying that. But you have to remember who you are. You have to remember you are built to last. You are built to thrive. You get knocked down, you get up. You may sit there for a minute and feel like you've been uh, forsaken, as some people may say. But that moment when you feel forsaken, you learn, get back up. Nobody, no one is going to hold your hand like you are a 5-year-old child going to the school bus for the first time. That was fine when you were a 5-year-old child, but when you are an adult and you are spiritually growing and you have challenges coming at you left and right, sometimes highest divinity is going to step back and allow you to recognize that you are stronger than you thought you were. And yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, sometimes you just feel like, why me? Why I got to go through this? Maybe you chose to go through this. Maybe we chose to experience um, life's challenges, you know? And that's where I am right now. So even though it's been very, how should I phrase this? Life can be full of scenarios. Full of scenarios. We choose how we deal with those scenarios. And even if you get knocked down the first time, the second time, the third time, there's always an angle that you can approach a situation to rise above that. Now, when you have bogus laws, man-made laws created to keep you down, just saying, you have some of our greatest who got locked up, just saying, because they were doing the right thing, just saying. And so sometimes when you need to get things done, get things done, point blank. Hey, Auntie Pooh, Auntie Pooh. This is not necessarily a video that's funny, but I'm just here just trying to give some uplifting messages to people who may be feeling like uh, they're done and they're ready to check out. So this is what this video is primarily about. Um, yeah, I said Q. I didn't say her name, even though that's not her real name. So I guess that's okay. But I use the letter Q. I use the letter D, um, just for privacy purposes. But yeah, I was just saying how that particular family branch of our family tree has gone through hell. I don't know. It could be something attached to that branch. And I was mentioning that I believe we all, regardless of where you come from, we all need to not take spirituality lightly and take steps towards cleansing. Because if this is what I think it is, because the cousin who did exactly what D did, this is something attached to that branch. Yeah, I had my sage burning and some Palo Santo sticks or Palo Santo sticks. One thing about Palo Santo sticks, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is when you burn it, it releases um, energy that you don't want around you, but it also attracts energy that you want around you. So if let's say there's ancestors that love you the most, you want to attract those ancestors that love you the most, you know. So Palo Santo sticks are pretty good. Of course, sage. Sage um, is a tool to use to burn or whatever um, to help the energy you don't want out of your space. And I don't know if Q understands that. Um, I don't know her belief system or anything like that. Um, I don't know if she understands physical cleansing, be it baths. Yeah, a suicide spirit. Yeah. Mhm. I didn't want to jump to that conclusion, but you know what? Common sense is pretty much telling you if you know this family branch on that side of the family, it's something attached. It is definitely something going on. It is. Q's mother was murdered. D, her brother, took his own life. Q's brother's father, I don't know his name. I don't know much about him, but I remember hearing he died. I don't know how he died. So, D, mama, murdered. Dad died. Then he turns around and he takes his own life. And then his niece just recently took her life. Oh, so D's father took his life too. Is that what you're saying? Wow. Wow. And you know what's sad? I got a gut feeling none of them got help. None of them got, yeah, none of them got help. This is not normal. And I think in some families, when you got stuff like that going on and they don't get proper help, it's almost normalized. That's not normal. That is not normal. It's not. Mm. So I was gonna wait a little while, Auntie Pooh, before calling you about everything because the viewers don't know, but you were there with the young cousin who just took her life. You were there with her mother, um, and her mother and you grew up together, so y'all are like sisters. So you were there with her. So they didn't know that, but I just explained it. Um, so of course we can uplift that side of the family with love and prayer and as much as we can, but sometimes it takes something physical. And when I say physical, I mean like physically cleansing, um, using spiritual works. Because for people who are brought up believing in one entity, And believing in that one entity has not helped them get over this attachment, this negative, um, I want to say another word besides energy. It's this low vibrational negative possession almost. Some, there has to be something else that they need to receive, because obviously the way they were brought up, that way of the belief system has not helped. Getting to the root of it all says, "Hey, sister, just checking in. Thanks for chiming in. I think you're the first time seeing you comment in the chat box. So thank you so much for chiming in. Um, like I've said before to those who've been watching for a while, this video is not necessarily a happy-go-lucky video. This is a video in particular to just again reiterate people who are having low moments in life, and some people having more low moments than others. Please, please seek help, because even in your intermediate family or what have you, or even your friends, they may not necessarily know how to help you get the help you need. Um, they may have the same situation you went through, but for whatever reason, they can snap out of it and, you know, turn lemons into lemonade. But then some people, it's more difficult for them to do that. And so I guess sometimes they feel like they have nowhere else to go, no one to talk to. And I've said before, I had my moments where I just wanted to just start over, you know, not necessarily check out like some people, but start over, you know, fresh start. But when you have moments like that, um, there are people out there that will talk, that will listen to you, that are trained to listen to you. There are hotlines that you can call, and you know, but again, everyone will eventually leave this physical space and go to another dimension in so many different ways, so many different ages. Um, for instance, one of my nephews, he passed away when he was only, I think, 3 months old. He had a lot of issues and he didn't make it. And of course, that was horrible. It was, um, it was heartbreaking. And at the same time, his spirit came and his spirit left. His spirit never died, though. Energy doesn't die. Energy just evolves, and his energy just was here for a moment, and then his energy went on to another assignment. And that's how I look at it. The relative that died just recently, um she has gone on to another assignment as well. And of course, the rest of us that's left behind is a nightmare. I cannot imagine, I repeat, I cannot imagine the hell, the hell that her mother's going through right now, and whoever else that has been close to her. I can't imagine. I can't. I cannot imagine what she's dealing with right now. But yet her daughter, her energy is still alive, because energy doesn't die. It just goes on to another assignment. She has gone on to another assignment. I don't know what it is. I don't know, what her assignment is at this point. Um, but that type of transition is It cuts deep. Yeah, that cuts real deep. And let me read some of these comments. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Let me go back up because the chat, your comments kind of went up real quick. So let me kind of go back up so I can see it. Auntie Pooh says she have to be watched right now. Okay. We're talking about the mother who just lost her daughter, which is my cousin, to suicide. So she's under watch right now because her daughter was her only child, and long story short, um, with everything her mother went through, I guess her daughter was the reason for her to even live. And it's this right here. Yeah, she needs to be watched. Um, yeah, she can't be left alone right now. Antidepressant saves lives. Okay. And then getting to the root of it all says, I've been tuning in, just sitting in the cut. Oh, okay. You just haven't said anything. Well, thanks for watching. And again, this video is pretty heavy. So that's life, you know. Sometimes we experience some heavy doses of challenges. And this is one of them. Let's see. Auntie Pooh says she said she had lost her job and tired of disappointing her mom and of course, oh, the girlfriend. Oh, that's another layer. So she was okay, the cousin who committed suicide recently. She apparently um, she had lost her job and she didn't want to be a disappointment, right? Um, and then she was in a relationship with someone and I think they might have broke up or something like that. So I think from what I'm reading here and a little bit that I've heard from you, Auntie Pooh, um, looks like this cousin had had enough, obviously. And she has been probably dealing with uh, so much pain from day one. And I think she just turned 28, right? So she been going through whatever psychological depression or whatever she been going through all her life. That child was not a happy child. And I don't know if it was something that was passed down to her in the womb, but when she was born, she was not a happy child. She used to cry all the time. And I'm not talking about colicky cry. I'm talking about she was always crying. And as she got older, she was just very sad looking, you know. Um, Auntie Pooh says his anniversary was yesterday. Okay, my nephew who died as a newborn, his the anniversary of his death was yesterday. So it's again, his energy is still alive. It just went on to another dimension. Um, but what's nice is that his siblings, uh, my niece and my little nephew, I believe they actually have contact with him. Because you know how kids, they have their little imaginary friends or whatever, and then they grow out of it. I think they actually are having contact with their little brother. And the way they talk about him is if he has never left. You know, well, my little brother. And that's the way we want to keep it, right? Because when he passed, you know, they were very little, you know. You know, one thing about kids, they bouncing all over the place, but during that memorial, it was almost like they knew this was the time to not do what little kids do. It was almost like they knew to sit still and be quiet. Um, and that their little brother's remains was not viewable. But we did, as the adults, and my sister, my nephew's mom, we went back there to say our goodbyes. So my niece and nephew, you know, his siblings didn't see him, in that state. And they shouldn't have to see him that way. Um, but again, what's beautiful about the energy that never dies, uh, I truly believe that they do have contact with him, and they always talking about him. So he's around. Um, Auntie Pooh Auntie Pooh says anger. Um, when you say anger, are you talking about, what are you talking about the anger? As far as A. Okay, are you talking? Oh, okay. So A was very angry. Yeah, she was probably upset with how life had turned out. Um, yeah, anger management. Okay. Ooh, ooh. But you know what? To keep it real, I don't blame her for having issues due to the fact that she was brought up in that side of the family, or on that side of the family, because it was almost like she was born into that. She had she had no other choice really as a young woman, right? I'm not talking about if she would have like worked on it and went through it as a grown woman, but obviously she took her life 2 months after her birthday. She just had a birthday, I believe, 28 years old. And, I guess she was just like, done, done. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Um, Getting to the root says this life is like the movie Butterfly Effect. Yeah, it is. One thing can change the course of so many lives. One thing. Good, bad, or in between. If something bad didn't happen, then something good probably would not have happened as well. Um, and vice versa. Wow. So there was an argument, and then when my cousin shot herself, this is what Auntie Pooh is saying. When my cousin shot herself, um, the girlfriend was trying to save her and do CPR. And then obviously when the paramedics got there, it was too late. Wow. Wow. And also there was another witness there who will now need therapy. And this witness was a child. So that, there's a cycle. You know what I mean? Wow. So Auntie Pooh, you stayed with her, the mother. You stayed with the mother um, overnight. Like, how long were you there with her? And who's with her now? So Auntie Pooh, which is my sister, stayed with our cousin, who is the mom of the young lady who took her life a couple of days ago. Okay. So Okay. So my sister spent the night with her, like when everything had happened. And now our cousin Q, who is the mother of the cousin who took her life, um, she's not alone. She's with a boyfriend who's watching her like a hawk. And then my sister says she's going back over there tomorrow. Okay. And you know what's sad about this whole thing? There are places in jurisdictions that are not allowing people to leave their homes, or if they are trying to go to an area that has restrictions on people that don't live there, like meaning you can't go through their county or you can't go through their, for instance, their state, it's going to be difficult for people, loved ones, to even go to the funeral. Um, and I'm not in a position at the current moment to go anywhere. That's another topic of discussion because I just got here and there's a bunch of restrictions, and it was like Bonnie and Clyde trying to get over here. Just so you know where I am now. So I gotta stay put until things um is lifted or whatever. Um, I don't know if Q is going to have maybe her remains cremated and then there be a memorial later. Uh, or maybe have her embalmed, have the funeral, bury her, and then have a memorial later for the rest of the family. I don't know. Okay. So Amanda, didn't want she didn't want a graveyard funeral. Is that what you're saying? A lot of people these days do not want to be put in a box. I don't want, and I repeat, I do not want to be put in a box. I would prefer to be cremated. And a lot of people I know these days will prefer cremation because, um, okay, it's going to be a graveside memorial. Okay. Yeah. So no cremation for her. But yeah. I, what is LA baby for me? What is that? This is Auntie Pooh, by the way. Again, my sister. She was there after everything happened. Um, Los Angeles. What are you talking about? Oh, you want your ashes. Oh, okay. Okay, my sister loves LA, right? She's so Hollywood. So what I'm hearing here is that when her time comes, she crosses over and she transitions. Her energy goes somewhere else, but her remains stay. She wants her remains to be cremated, and she wants her ashes to be. I think you said you wanted to be poured out on Rodeo Drive. Is that what you said? She wants to be over there in Hollywood. Yeah, okay. You need to write that down because, 50 years from now, some people may not even know what you're talking about. Um, Write that down in a will or something, how you want your remains to, be taken care of. Venice Beach, yeah. We had a good time when we went to Venice Beach. Every time I think about Venice Beach, I think about when we went and we took pictures and it looked like it was Three's Company. This is one of my favorite sitcoms, comedies in the 70s. That's one of my favorites. Um, but yeah, so anyway, the whole transition is um, is a nightmare. Yeah. In this kind of way that I've been talking about as far as suicide. It's a complete nightmare. And the way she went out was very reminiscent of her uncle and other horrible things that has happened on that family branch side. Um, yeah, it's there's something there has to be. I'm sorry, it cannot be a coincidence. It has to be something attached spiritually to that branch, that family branch. It has to be. I mean, there's no other explanations at this point. None. There needs to be a cleansing. And again, I don't know if Q is open to that kind of cleansing because not everyone is, but there needs to be a serious cleansing. That house, um, her person, meaning cleanse her body. Uh, Everyone who are prayer warriors, whatever you praying to, go in overtime. Because I understand she has other relatives, the cousin who crossed over recently that has other relatives and friends that care much about her. But right now, I'm more concerned about her mother. Okay? She has gone through hell, and who knows how long she's going to be in this one for a while. And I ask highest divinity, the power, the creator of all, to rain down peace over her right now. Lift her up. Any dark energy around her, cast them out. They have no place there. They have no place there. Done. Damage is done. They have to go. They proved their point. They need to get off of that tree and anybody else's tree. They have no place there. They've gone gang, gang on that branch in that family. Done. Move on. There's no more room for that. So we need to uplift her. Because right now, she probably don't want to hear nothing about no Jesus or anything like that. So she may not want to hear nobody praying over her. But in the meantime, we can uplift her in our own way that is not going to be overbearing or, you know, how some people can be. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. And then they want to be nosy and all of that. We ain't talking about that. We talking about real prayer warriors that will get up in a closet and pray all night. That type. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Of course, this happens in so many different families throughout the world. There are people right now going through stuff. And then with the media, it's just pumping out a lot of fear, not much facts. And so we have to be very grounded, and we have to make sure that we find some kind of gratitude somewhere, find something to be grateful for. Because the more you fear, the more you are opening up those opportunities for energy vampires to step in and cause havoc. That's all I got to say about that. Take care of yourselves. Eat right, or eat the best you can, because I know, organic and all that is expensive, but choose, a smoothie with some vegetables and things of that nature over a cheeseburger. Okay? Can we do that, please? It's not about, depriving yourself of something. It's more like enhancing your experiences, that later in life you're not kicking yourself in the butt because you ate too many cheeseburgers and now you got clogged arteries and got heart problems and all of that. And then when something like the corona decides it wants to sweep through, then you're struggling. And for those who do have low immune systems, take precaution. Um, you ain't gotta go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Just stay home and turn off the freaking TV, and just only look at it occasionally. You don't have to stare at the TV screen all day. All that's gonna do is create more fear, anxiety, and make it worse as far as internally, physically. It messes with your mind, and it's easy to sit around, watch TV, and depending on what you're watching, certain networks are definitely into fear, and fear sells. Fear and sex. Fear and sex sells. And I find it interesting how some people, I guess, they are kind of lost when they couldn't go worship because their place of worship was closed. I understand being with people and worshiping together. And when there's two or three gathered, that's what I was raised upon. The Lord is there and all that. I get that. But people have to learn that sometimes when you are alone, God shows up. And you could still have reverence and all that for whatever you believe in at home. So don't worry. A lot of these churches gonna make sure you still pay. They got their envelopes. If they have a website, and most do, they have a website, they're gonna have a donate button where you can donate. Sometimes they have live streaming at some of these fancy, churches or whatever. They have live streaming. So at the end of the day, you can still get your church on and you can donate. And then you got these TV evangelists or whatever. A lot of people watch them on TV and then they'll donate that way. So it may not necessarily be your local church. But for those who believe that if they don't give their tithes, they're going to go to hell, y'all ain't got to worry about that. There's so many different ways you can still pay if that's what you choose to do. Um, don't feel like you can't still give to the cause. There's definitely platforms where you can still give. Anyway, not trying to knock nobody, but at the same time, you can still worship, give thanks, and all of that good stuff at home. You can set up a picture of whatever you believe in, burn some candles, light some incense, uh, or whatever. You can pray over whatever it is, and you will be able to uh, bring that into your space. Okay? And if you do FaceTime, if you're computer tech, if you're on Facebook, I think you could figure it out, right? if you are on some kind of social platform, I think you can figure out how to do video, FaceTime, and stuff like that. If you have a praying study group or whatever, Bible study group, y'all can all get on, let's say Zoom, which is ZOOM. You can log in, set up an account with Zoom.com. I think it's .com, and you guys can pray together. If you want to be able to see each other and pray and all that, you can do that. You can do that. Now, of course, you got 90-year-old plus church going women and men who've been doing it all their life. That is very new for them. But you can still get on the phone. You can do three-way or whatever you want to call it, and sing and uh, have sister Maybelline or whatever, give her testimony. Y'all can do all that on over the phone if you're not computer savvy or whatever. Hi, sweet. You said hello to the host in the chat. Sorry being late again. No, you're not late. Actually, this was a last minute decision to make this video. I'm going to end this video soon so you can go back and watch it. But it was a very challenging few days. Actually, for me in my personal life, it's been challenging for a long time. But you have to just find things to be thankful and grateful for and go from there. I'm in the middle of manifestation. I'm in the middle of law of attraction. I'm in the middle of being thankful for my spiritual team and all of that good stuff. And shout out to my sister, Auntie Pooh. She got some good news what was it? Not this past Friday, but it was last Friday. And I mean, not trying to say too much because that's your business, but sister girl made something happen. And the initial situation was very crooked, and my sister uh, linked up with uh, people that knew a thing or two, and just to take it home, she tapped into her spiritual team, okay? And her spiritual team, I told you, I told you from day one, I said, you're covered. I understand you going through it and it's easier when you ain't going through it to say that. But deep down in my gut, deep down, I was like, nah, that right there is a scare tactic. That right there is a waste of time and money, of course, right? But all they did, and I repeat, all they did was activate. All they did was activate what was already in you, and you just was introduced to it. That's all. So even though it was very frustrating and stressful, but it allowed you to discover your strength and discover your inner power. That's what that was. Just saying. They have opened up the gates. That's all. That's all they did. They had a purpose in helping you discover your inner power. So, um, yeah. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Get ready. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money. Some people got to have it. Hey, hey, hey. Some people really need it. Good things, good things, good things. Something, something. Na na. Down, 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 down. All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is they have just opened up the gates. Because when you cross people, you don't know who rolling with them. You don't know who is marching behind them. You don't know. All you did was wake up the lion. That's it. So kudos to my sister who got good news a little over a week ago. Congratulations to you. Like I said, I knew deep down you were covered. From day one, when you explained to me all the stuff that was going down and how you felt, and you was giving me step by step what you were going through. What you were going through, right? You were going through it, right? And when you were explaining it to me, and when certain things um, didn't go through in your favor, by the way, I said, "Oh, you're covered. You're covered. You had your bracelet on. They couldn't get what they needed from you, right?" I said, "Oh, this is bogus. This is bogus." And then you did what you needed to do. Okay, Nolans. Okay, Nolans. You did what you needed to do. Okay? So kudos to your spiritual team. And I'm sure some of them are part of mine because we related. Just saying. No, no, no. You can't play nice all the time. You just can't. You try to play nice. You try to, tiptoe around folks. But then when people cross you and they don't know who's rolling with you, they don't know who's on your team, all they did was open up the gates. That's it. So, you didn't ask for them to intrude, did you? No. No, you did not ask for them to intrude. They took it upon themselves. So they just walked into a flame. That's what they did. And guess what? Pour the gas. That's what you do. Pour the gas. That's what you do. That's all I got to say about that. I got to go. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time. Um, Sweet, I almost forgot that I was not on here just with my sister. Because she and I have been talking about possibly doing a video together and just talk, you know. And when we talk, we just get down laughing about stuff. Because you have to laugh, because if not, if you don't laugh, because laughter is therapy, If you don't laugh, then you cry. So, that's what we do. Like, we'll, vent or whatever you want to call it. And then there'll be times when we're just cracking up laughing. And that's a good thing. So anyway, kudos to you, Auntie Pooh. Um, it is what it is. And thank you, spiritual team, for stepping up. You were there the whole time anyway, but sometimes we have to be in a bind to realize all we had to do was call. That's it. All we had to do was call. Y'all was there the whole time. I'm like, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I'm in my lane. You stay in your lane. But you cross over here. I don't have. What's the word? I can't speak for whoever's on my team. Whoever's part of my army. If you cross the line, you got to deal with them. Because I'm trying to be nice. I think I'm a pretty nice person, Yeah, I think I'm pretty nice. But I'm not going to touch you. But, good luck. Good luck. Because, just saying. Just saying. Do right by people, okay? Because if you don't do right by people, that person may not necessarily go after you, but you don't know who's on her or his team. You don't know who's rolling with them. You don't know who is walking with them, okay? So you got to be careful. So as far as my sister, Auntie Pooh, oh, they about to find out now. Oh, they about to find out. And you sit back and count your coins. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. Hashtag cha-cha cha-ching. Because y'all asked for that. But anyway, I got to go. With everything going on, like I said, there's help out there, guys, as far as people that you love, or maybe you're going through something. There's help. There's hotlines. There's people who are trained to listen to what you're going through and to find solutions, okay? And at the same time, your spiritual connection is the number one thing in my core that I believe that you need to be connected to. Because that in and of itself, believe it or not, makes the world go round. That spirit, whatever that spirit is, be it low or be it high, it makes the world go round. And I say again a prayer for loved ones and those who loved and cared for my cousin who took her life recently, this past Saturday. I asked for uh, the powers, the spiritual energy, the highest divinity, the ancestors that loved her the most. Because not all ancestors are lovey-dovey, okay? You have some ancestors that are buttholes. But the ancestors that loved her the most, probably her grandmother, because her grandmother was taken away very soon as well. Her grandmother was murdered. Her ancestors, her spiritual team, um, she is in another realm right now, but may she find her peace. May she find her path in the direction that she's supposed to be going in. Um, she is on another mission, okay? As far as her mother, may we lift her up and everyone else that loved and cared for my cousin. Um, we are blood related, so she's my cousin, she's my family, and I want us all to uplift them. Um, because we can say condolences and everything like that. We need to tap in deeper. We need to call on those who went before us to uplift her. She needs every ounce of love and prayer and just that power, that spiritual power to uplift her. She needs it right now. She needs it. She is in hell right now. This is hell right now. When people think, oh, if you do wrong, you're going to die, go to hell. No, this is her hell right now. She's in her hell right now. We need to uplift her. Okay? I call on highest divinity. I call on the ancestors that love her the most. Lift her up. Lift her up. I call on the energy to go into her space and cleanse it. All of that negative, dark energy that has been running rapid in that family tree. They have no place there. I call on the strongest of the strongest, the highest of the highest to go in there and lift her up. That's who I call on. And I thank you guys who are watching. You may or may not know who she is. But at the same time, she is loved. Her daughter is loved. Her daughter will always be loved, regardless of how she left. She is on another platform. She is on another mission. She is in another realm. Her spirit never dies. Our spirit never dies. It just goes to another dimension. May she find the peace. May she find the purpose in her journey. We all gonna make that journey eventually, okay? May we find our purpose and we go on to our journey. But right now in the physical, we need to uplift my cousin Q, who is the mother of the daughter who just took her life. May she find peace. May she find peace. May she dwell in unconditional peace. The only peace that she will get was going to come from a supernatural, high, powerful being. That spirit that many of us call God. I call on that spirit to just wrap her up in peace and hold on to her. Hold on to her. I ask for that for her. I have no answers. It's what happened. But during times like this, we either are going to get closer to God, highest divinity, goddess, whatever you want to call it. The power that is the most powerful power of all powers. We either going to get closer to that, or we're going to go in the other direction and we're going to be further and further away from where we ought to be. We want her, the mother, my cousin, we want her to gravitate closer in that direction and not go in the other direction. Because then the cycle will continue. We need to help her break that cycle. There is a cycle going on, and it, in my gut, in my core, that cycle is a spiritual attack. The daughter took her life this past weekend. The uncle took his life about 20 years ago. The uncle's father took his life. And then her mother was murdered. This is the same family line, guys. This is a family branch that I'm related to. That branch, it needs to cut. That cord needs to cut right now. It needs to cut right now. And that's all I have to say right now. Thank you guys for watching. I know that this video was very heavy, but I hope you got something out of it. If you need help, call the 1-800 number. If you feel suicidal, call. Get help. Get help. Call on your spiritual backbone. Cry out to them. And that's all I have to say about that. I have nothing else to say. I really don't. That's all I have to say. I love you guys. Be blessed. Be a blessing to others. Be a blessing to others. And when people need you the most, be a blessing to others. And until next time, toodles, guys.